Welcome to our audience this evening as we, again, for another Monday night program on Globespan 24/7. It is our great honor to welcome all of our guests and our viewers and all over the world as you continue to support this program here on Globespan 24/7. We want to thank Nohar Singh for making this platform available, and of course to Devin Bisu, our technical specialist. This evening, on behalf of Globespan 24/7 and our guests and every one of us here at Globespan, we want to wish Ramadan Mubarak to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters as they begin the month of fasting, and also to our Hindu community as they celebrate Mahashiv Navratri, which Mother Durga and her sisters, as they celebrate, as they call it each day, of name, fame, health, wealth, happiness, humanity, education, devotion, and enlightenment. We want to wish all of our Muslim brothers and sisters and the Hindu community in their religious activities as they begin most likely tomorrow. This evening, it is our great honor and pleasure to have with us the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Commerce Minister, your tourism, your ministry spans so many areas. We want to really welcome you tonight, Minister, to this program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here, and thank you for having me.
And of course, to my co-host, Dr. Rose. Dr. Rose, welcome.
Thank you, Charles.
Minister, different government and even within the same government, they seem to be changing the portfolio of ministers. Your ministry, what are your areas of responsibility in this current administration?
In this current administration, I am the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. So tourism, it's self-explanatory, deal with the GTA, the Ghana Tourism Authority, is under my ministry, which deals with marketing of the tourist products of Ghana and tourism. And then there is industry. Industry, the department deals with the industrial estates, getting, they have, for example, estates like in Eccles and Collagen, Belvedere, where we zone, we parcel out pieces of land, large plots of land, for and invite economic activity, whether it's soft manufacturing, and they're zoned accordingly. And this is to build, support business and business development in Guyana. Then there is commerce, that business, the Small Business Bureau, the Ghana National Bureau of Standards that deals with standards and qualities, and other trade matters. We have a commerce department here at the ministry. So yes, it's those three aspects, far-reaching, and it's a wide portfolio. But those are my primary responsibilities.
It is, Minister, a very wide portfolio. Do you have any minister within your ministry, or are you alone carrying those responsibilities?
I'm alone. No minister within the ministry.
And you have a huge task ahead of you to coordinate tourism, industry, and commerce. Those are really broad areas of responsibility. We want to wish you all the best, and I think so far we have heard you're doing pretty well. But as we get into the program, we want to zoom in on areas that you're, especially tourism and commerce, and of course industry as well.
Ask for them to be sequestered, kept at a secure location for the rest of the
Minister Walrond.
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Rose. We're getting some background noise. If there's anything that's on, keep.
My bad. It's TV. Sorry about that. Yeah, Mr. Warren, before I get to ask you the questions, few of us knew you before you became a minister. I did not know that you may exist in the world, much less Guyana.
Yeah.
I know you're a lawyer, you're a magistrate. Could you please give us a background of yourself where you're from, and so forth.
Right. Yeah, so I appreciate the question. You're right. Apart from being a magistrate, I had led a very private life. I was never involved in politics before. I am 23 years at the bar, so I've been an attorney for a while, a generation, and I joined the bench at a very young age. I did that for 7 years, and then I migrated, went to abroad and I did my master's while I was abroad. I came back, and while I came back to Guyana, and I joined the Ministry of that at that time was a public telecommunications. I would have been under the previous administration and dealt with matters of as a legal advisor to the minister in matters relating to ICT and telecommunications development. And I did that until I was called for this appointment. So yeah, that's a brief, that's an overview of my thing. My father has been very involved in politics on the previous administration, but as the PNC. I guess there was no APNU at the time, and he influenced a lot of my political awareness, I guess, whatever little of that I had, and so yeah.
Now, you became a minister. Did you have any association with the PUP before, prior to being named the Minister of Industry, Trade and Tourism?
With the PPP as a party, no. I went to school with many of a few of the cabinet members, and I were school friends. Priya, Mani Chan, Anil, Nandala, we all did law school together. Yeah. But that was the extent of my association. No association with the party at all. Before.
Okay. I think on March 6, 2019, not I think, that's the date, Guyana has been named the best destination in the world for ecotourism. It was a global fair trade that was held in Berlin, Germany at that time. Now, what steps have you taken so far to make this a reality? Because it is my understanding that nothing was done much from the previous government because they were like a caretaker government.
Well, we have, because of the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic, we continue to market Guyana from the perspective of it being safe to travel, and so we have been building up our reputation as a safe place to travel. Oh, as a matter of fact, our tourism product is tailored to a safe COVID-free environment, because we have the wide open spaces, and our marketing is tailored to small groups, so you can travel with your bubble and into our eco lodge. The different destinations, they're all wide open, so you can practice the social distancing. Also, we recently won the video, as we continue to market Guyana internationally. We won out of 23 countries and 122 videos that were submitted. Guyana, we won first prize once again as under the theme Safer Travel, inviting and marketing Guyana as the place to return to when people do start to look to come back out to travel. And our airports have been reopened, and so we continue to market and sell Guyana, inspire people abroad to come and enjoy our products when they can come, and that it is safe to do so. And we are certifying each one of our destinations and each one of our facilities in all across Guyana As we train, we certify them and we put them up on the website as this facility is safe to enjoy because all the sanitization protocols are in place. So we are finding much success in that as we also market Guyana to Guyanese, as you are here already in Guyana. Some people can't travel abroad. Well, at least that is restricted. For now, it's we more Guyanese are beginning to enjoy, and it's been a social media presence and a social media push where we see Guyanese going to different regions, going and just enjoying Guyana and rediscovering how beautiful our country is. And so the domestic tourism has been picking up as well, and that too helps to highlight and because it's all in social media and people or foreigners, and people who come to visit will be coming to visit. They see what a beautiful country that we are and that we can still enjoy it even in this time.
Businesses, as you know, Madam Minister, are the major sources for growth development, project GDP, for income, for investments, for jobs in Guyana and any place else. And they are central to securing the country's economic growth and improve the living standards of the people. How do you intend to address these pivotal issues in Guyana?
From the inception, the President Ali has said that we recognize especially small businesses as being the engine of growth in Guyana, and indeed for the world, as you rightfully said, Dr. Rose. And so we recognize this, and we recognize that as a government, we need to support and bolster small businesses and businesses in Guyana. And in 2004, this administration, the PPP administration, introduced the Small Business Act, which created a legal infrastructure for small businesses to thrive with certain fiscal incentives and enshrined that and enacted that in actual legislation, so that the small businesses are because there was fear and there was and it was a reality that they were being crowded out by the larger fishes, the big fishes. And so to give them an opportunity to thrive, this fiscal and this legislative infrastructure was implemented. And we continued as we came back in power to push and along that same principle and the spirit of that act. And since I came into my appointment, came into this position, we've brought the Small Business Amendment Act to Parliament, and that act was recently passed, which allows now for small businesses. It makes it mandatory and for small businesses in Guyana to be for them to be all government procurement. 20% of government procurement has to be offered to small businesses, and this once again speaks to the desire and the actual these words to action and to say that small businesses, when government is spending, when government works are going out, we have to offer small businesses in Ghana 20% of our procurement. All of the money, this is billions of dollars, has to be offered to our small businesses. This is for works and services. So we continue to implement and to come up with incentives for small business to thrive. There is in the Small Business Bureau, we have the small business grant. We have doubled the available to small businesses, and made available also the COVID grant available for help COVID relief for small businesses. So it's a lot has been done since we've come into power to continue to encourage and to send the message across to that business is important to us as government. Also in the industrial sector, we have opened and reinvigorated a lot of the estates. In fact, the estates that were under this ministry, the industrial estates, have been languishing. And the whole idea is for us to introduce economic activity, introduce businesses to these industrial estates, and that has been poorly managed. It's fell into disrepair, and we've now been reinvigorating that movement. And recently, we've invited applications for both the Belvedere and the Lethem industrial estates, where we've got an overwhelming response from business people who want to have access. We make the lands access available to them, provide the infrastructure, and invite business people who are interested to come and get involved in economic activity, start up their business, and of course we provide, and they will, provide employment. And that is another way that we have tangibly reached out and say to the business and the private sector, we are here to support you, and you come. We've made the infrastructure available, and you can start getting involved in manufacturing, agro-processing, and we've zoned the different areas for different kinds of economic activity. And we're spreading out to other parts of the country, because we recognize that each community ought to have the access to the same opportunities in terms of business and being able to have access to resources to bolster and to encourage economic activity. So Region 10 and Region 2 will be the two regions in which we'll be looking to open new industrial estates. So there's a lot that is going on as well. There's also legal structure being put for ease of doing business. There's a small business, the single windows project that is going to see the single window for trade implemented. Where is just one place for everyone who wants to do import, export, and importers and all custom matters. It can be done at one place, at one window.
I'll come to that later, but one question before I let you in, Charles. Minister, one of your very good friends, and I'm not going to tell you who this person is, told me that you're a hands-on person. You're not someone who will maintain the status quo. Now, having said that, what changes have you made at the ministry in terms of structure, appointments, and so forth, since you are a hands-on person? And is your good friend, but I'm not going to tell you who she is.
Yes, I am pretty hands-on. I like to make sure that we are making an impact, and we're not just doing mindless activities. And I like to make sure that the people that are around me and are supporting me understand the vision and the need to that results matter, and that it's not anecdotal results. It's about making a commitment, a work plan, and that at the end of the day you're held accountable to that work plan, and it has to be proven by numbers and evidence. Being a lawyer, the evidence is what matters. So so that is very important to me, and so the people around me, I need to make sure that they understand that, and that and that is the only way in which they're going to be allowed, kept in the fold. So yes, there have been some changes, but mostly it has been a mindset change. It hasn't really been physical or moving people out. It is making the demands. I think there's been a lot of inertia before. I think there is the fallacy that when you're working for government, you don't have to perform. And in this ministry, I think they're quickly learning. We're all learning that that is not going to fly, and that people want to see. You have to speak to your results and to be making a difference. You're here to make a difference in people's lives. We're using taxpayers' money, and we have to be accountable and make a change. So I have been like these industrial estates. I myself sat down and had interviews with each one of we've had almost 70 in total applicants, and we've sat down. I've done the interviews myself because I feel that I want to know what is happening. When we have legal issues, I want to hear each one of them in each of the estates, every single legal issue that is going on. I want to understand what they are and understand how we solve them. So yes, I am pretty hands-on, and I like to know. We can't make solutions, come up with solutions from sitting at a desk in Georgetown when we are trying to affect lives of communities that are in Region 9 and Region 7. You have to go out and hear what people want. We can't, yeah.
So your friend is correct then. Charles, over to you.
Minister, I couldn't help but overheard your discussion with Dr. Rose when you said, even though your father was PNC and you were never part of the PPP, you said that when we came back in power. So I was wondering what you meant by we came back in power.
I'm part of the team. I'm part of the team. There is no doubt about it. I am part of the team. I am excited to be chosen as such. As you know, I was appointed as a technocrat minister, and but I am very convinced and immediately connected to President Ali's and the VP's vision for Guyana. And the fact as I came in, I was embraced by my colleagues who don't know even knew where I came from, but with the understanding that we are all working for a common good for the betterment of Guyana, having come through the trauma of 5 months of uncertainty and the horror and the prospect that Guyana was going to fall into hands that didn't necessarily want the best for her. Her being Guyana, we have rallied around a common vision to make Guyana better for all Guyanese. And so, yes, I am excited and happy to be part of this team. And yeah, so when I say we, even though I wasn't part of it then, it's a collective we, meaning that our team of.
I'm glad you mentioned, Minister, that 5 months, because I know it's not in your portfolio, but today I read in the news that the players who took us through that 5 months at GCOM, they pleaded not guilty, but that's a different story altogether. But Minister, you mentioned that the target is 20% of procurement will be given to small businesses. As we speak today, what percentage is actually being given to small business?
That is a good question, because we have not been able to put a figure to that. In terms of small businesses that as defined under the Small Business Act, there has not been that has not been documented because it wasn't tailored that way. But now we're putting software in place where we're going to be able to track that. Small businesses will register with the Small Business Bureau. They'll be designated as small business as legally defined. And when they are awarded the contracts, we'll be able to make a note of that. So as we go on, as we progress in time, we're going to be able to have those figures to share with the public.
Okay. I'm glad you mentioned industrial estate, because I believe, in my own view, that is the way the government should go, any government, and then around those estates, we should build housing schemes so that people who will work there, they live next door. How many industrial estate is projected to be in place in President Ali's first term of office? You have that number?
I know for this year, we are going to be doing we're going to be adding 2 more. And we project to have one at Wales. All of them are not going to be under my my portfolio. They're going to be others are going to be developed in other areas. So I do not have the number, but I know that President Ali has, you know, it's something that is going to be every region. Most regions are going to have at least 2 to 3 industrial estates as far as possible. But for my ministry alone, and I'm not the only one that's going to have industrial estates, it's going to be 2 others just for this year. And every year we hope to build out and add more.
Okay. So that's good news that industrial estates will be going up across all the regions.
Yeah.
So the people there can have their industrial site. Excellent. I think that's a really great proposal. And but you know, Region 4 being the most populated area, we should have a lot more industrial estate in Region 4. Or if you are thinking of moving the population inland, maybe Region 10, Region 7, Region 8, you know, those areas might be possible candidate for more industrial sites.
Yes, Region 10 has been identified, and Region 7, Region 8. We have 2 already in Region 6. Yeah.
Okay. Minister, I know you discussed tourism with Dr. Rose, but how aggressive are we in promoting Guyana's tourism? As Dr. Rose said, we were #1 destination with ecotourism. But I know we had a pandemic for a year, more than a year now, so that affects tourism. But how aggressive will we move to promote ecotourism and other forms of tourism when this pandemic comes to an end?
Well, the thing is, we're not even waiting for it to come to an end. We're expecting that it will come to an end, and at the time when it does, that Guyana will be first and foremost in the minds of people who wish to travel. And so we continue to develop tourism products. More and more circuits are being developed. We when we call circuits, we call each region. We develop the different sites, and each region is unique, and they have different products that are being developed in each region. We also continue to market Guyana as an ecotourism destination abroad. We have several videos that are 2 were released in early March that speaks to Guyana as the bird in paradise. Europeans loved to come to Guyana for a birding experience. They have thousands of species of bird. So we continue to market aggressively abroad. Guyana, and we have been seeing the interest as this video, which we won the first prize for. We continue to be featured in the travel magazines abroad that are widely circulated and widely read. So yes, we are still aggressively marketing Guyana to keep the interest.
And Minister, that's tourism. In terms of the industry and commerce, is the Guyana Marketing Corporation under your ministry?
No, it is not.
So you do not have responsibility there. Well, I ask that question because when we look at the products that we produce here in Guyana, whether it's raw products, whether it's fruits or vegetables, because we have not yet gone full value added, I guess because electricity is so unreliable and it's so expensive. That's one area. But secondly, we have Gaisuco with sugar, and the new CEO there is pushing to do packaged sugar, which is very much value added. Is your ministry, when you talk to your colleagues in different parts of the world, promoting Guyana's product and ask them to have stake in buying Guyana's product, like sugar, packaged sugar, and packaged rice, and so on?
The value added is where it's where we need to go for all of our natural products, and in particularly in our agricultural products. And the one of the zone and the one of the areas in which we encourage in the industrial estate, and we've been encouraging businesses to come is the value-added agro processing, where you package the different whether it's juices, sugar, and also the Guyana National Bureau of Standards have been making, even tomorrow I'll be attending a certification ceremony where we'll be certifying the products, because our products have to be ready for international to be exported, and they have to meet a standard, international standard. And the Guyana National Bureau of Standards is making sure, and we have a focused drive and making sure that our products, our value-added products, meet those standards so that they can be eligible for export and to be received in the international market. So we recognize the value in that, and making tangible moves to make sure that our products are acceptable and meet international standards, where our businesses and the business people can be competitive in the international market. And so more and more you're going to see the National Bureau of Standards certifying more value-added products, including, I'm sure sugar will not be excluded from that, but there will be other agro-processes.
Minister, with due respect to your comment, and I like your comment, the business community, especially manufacturing sector in Guyana, they are at a disadvantage because our cost of electricity is the highest maybe in the world. So is government prepared to subsidize the electricity rates for these businesses that go value added? Is that part of your short-term plan for the industry?
No, but you are aware, or I hope that you are aware, but let me tell you that government is making steps, and it's one of our campaign. I smile when I say our campaign promises, because I know you'll come with me. Well, okay, I wasn't on the campaign, but it's one of the manifesto promises that the energy prices will go down, because we recognize it is a hindrance and a barrier to manufacturing in Guyana. Certainly, it's way too expensive. I know that my colleague ministers and the public works and the prime minister and all those who are responsible for energy generation have been working assiduously, including the VP, to see the fruition of our gas to shore project, the hydropower. All of this is with a view to reducing the cost of electricity and power here in Ghana. And it's a promise that was made in the manifesto, and you can be sure that we will deliver on it. Presently, there is not a plan, as far as I'm aware, to subsidize electricity here generation, but certainly there is investment and an active work plan to bring energy alternatives into Guyana so it can serve our manufacturing sector, and you can be sure that it will be delivered.
You know, another way to subsidize is to give incentive for entrepreneur to go into renewable energy. So if they set up their solar farm or their whatever wind farm, that they're giving credit against their taxes, so they don't have to pay tax at the same time, have to invest in these things. So maybe those are also some of the incentive for to encourage the sector, because don't forget, by the time, you know, whether it's the gas sector or the wind or hydro or solar, it takes time. By which time, like I read papers only this weekend, that there's a gentleman came back from Guyana setting up $75 million dairy bottling plant I think in Mahaica or in Region 5. that's a really good thing to do. But of course, again, energy is one of the most expensive components of running an industry. So your ministry will have a lot of things to help our entrepreneur. And I think Ghana is not short of that. It's just that it's too costly to do business here.
Yeah. Yes. There are other incentives that businesses have been offered coming to Ghana. The incentives for in the mining sector off of the vehicles and the equipment. And so there are other incentives that we've made available to investors. Unfortunately, the cost of energy has not been, we have not been an immediate relief. But I think that investors are finding it is worth their while to come, because they've been incentivized in other ways. And we know that this bane of high energy costs is not going to be with us forever.
Dr. Rose?
Minister Walrond, I just want to come back to ecotourism we discussed before. How do you intend to market Guyana as an ecotourism destination overseas? Promote its industrial development within the wider context of tourism development in the Caribbean.
Do you mean to say that to market it both as an industrial development and an ecotourism, because the two are inconsistent?
Yeah.
Yeah, they appear to be inconsistent. We recognize that our ecotourism will contribute significantly to our GDP. And Ghana, as a government, we remain resolute in preserving the pristineness of our rainforests, of our tourism product. At the same time, we don't believe that industrial development is inconsistent with an ecotourism product. It's a matter of planning, and the idea that your tourism product to be sustainable. If you the prospect, if you cut a tree, you plant a tree, but in some areas, but some areas will be exempt and removed from industrial activity, and we develop other areas. So it takes significant planning, and this has addressed the mind of government, where the industrial parks or development will be, as opposed to where our tourism products are, and to make sure that there is enough thought placed into the development, removal of waste, and the kinds of chemical, anything that is used that will upset the pristineness of our tourism products and our forests and our rivers and our trees. We remain committed to keeping and maintaining the pristineness of our tourism product.
2 years ago, the World Bank reported that doing business in Guyana is like a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
They said it takes months and sometimes perhaps years to obtain a business permit and or import-export licenses. Has that changed since you took office?
I dare say it has. There's a way to go. We do have more work to do, but it certainly has. The ease of doing business index, while we don't slavishly follow indices, we certainly look at the indicators, and some of the indicators have been just the fact of you trying to get an import license and 2 or 3 other agencies are involved, and you have to go running to the other agencies. Already, since I've been appointed as minister, we have online access to the application forms for the import and export. The single windows project, we're at the stage we're about to procure the services of the person who will set up the infrastructure. This is the software for the single windows for trade, where the one person can have access to all of the agencies at one place. And that is on stream to happen by the end of the year, to have that the infrastructure procured, and by next year traders will be able to access the end of next year, access their import licenses and all the necessary documents for import export at one window or one site. I know the same is happening for housing in terms of getting building permits, and it's not my sector, so I'm not going to speak extensively on that. But my ministry also, we are going to be putting before Parliament the electronic communications and electronic communications and transactions bill, sorry, and that is going to give legal efficacy to electronic signatures and processes, and gives business people more confidence in doing their business online. And so yes, while we recognize just recently, a couple weeks ago at the ministry, we have a drive-by for business people who are disabled. We have a window where they're able to drop off and process their license without coming into the building. They have a window. So we are working towards. We realize that there is a lot to be done, but we are definitely working on getting the ease of doing business improved.
In another World Bank report, which was last year, January, just before the elections, they said that crime, the high crime rate in Guyana, particularly the high incidence of property crime, white-collar crime, murders, and added to that, corruption, are affecting Guyana's industrial development and tourism. What have you to say?
That we recognize the perception that crime is a problem in Guyana. It's not my portfolio, so I don't wish to speak. I would leave that for the Minister of Home Affairs to speak to the steps that have been taken. But I do know that it's something that we have recognized that government is addressing. Security, and just recently I've seen the Attorney General declare that we're going to have stiffer penalties for people who engage in crimes against fraud and properties. So it's something that we are actively addressing.
Has your ministry done an analysis assessing the crime rate and how it's affecting the growth and tourism in Guyana on a percentage basis?
No, we have not. We have not done such an analysis. We have, however, made note and taken records of the crime and the kinds of crime that we have in our different regions that may affect travel, and put measures in place to address it. Like for instance, in Region 9, there's minimal instances of armed robbery in Region 9. So we know that the crime that is in Region 9 is mostly crime that is based out of alcohol and fights and stuff. So we are making those kinds of assessments based on the records of the kind of crime and where the crimes that would affect visitors and their travel. And So we are now building up that database and to come up with solutions that are targeted to the regions as we develop regional tourism, as opposed to Guyana as a whole. I mean, just generally, yes. And Georgetown is not excluded from that either.
Minister, I just got a text from someone saying that it's harder to meet with you than to meet with the vice president or so. Is that really true? It's hard to have a meeting with you.
Well, I'm not aware that is so at all. But in the sense that I'm not accessible. Well, I thought I was, but perhaps you could take the number of the person who was so complained. Maybe something fell through the cracks, and we can arrange a meeting if it is that person would like to have a meeting. Then certainly.
Okay, I'll definitely do that, Minister. Getting back to tourism, that seems to be a really big issue with Guyanese as well, because I mean, I think Guyanese want to come back home. We go all over the world and we don't even come to our Kaitro Falls or go and check the Rupununi savannas and so on. I've never been to Rupununi savannas. I went to Kaitro one time, but there's so many parts of Guyana I did not go to, which is really sad. But we go all over the world rather than coming to Guyana tourism. But Minister, you know, Guyana is not listed on global booking engine like Wikipedia and Expedia and so. And what is your plan to put Guyanese flight and tour operators, hotels, resorts, taxis, car rentals, and so on online? Is that happening?
Yes, that it is. We do have some our tour operators that are on the Guyana Tourism Authority's website that have been certified by so yes, we do have our tour operators who are compliant, and that we have a website that we make those database information available. And visitors can go and see the list of the establishments that are, well, now because of COVID, that have been certified safe for receiving visitors, and tour operators and taxi drivers are no less. Yeah.
Yeah, but Minister, again, another recommendation that I would make to you is that maybe to aggressively market our tourism sector, maybe you can give incentive to the tourism industry if they bring in X amount of tourists, and real tourists, not necessarily, you know, Guyanese traveling back and forth, but real tourists. They get an incentive, whether it's a reduction in taxes. Of course, you'll talk to the Ministry of Finance to see how well that can be worked out. But maybe if people get incentive, they will work harder to achieve targets. Do you agree?
Yes, I absolutely agree. We've recently put out for tender representatives in North America, that's US and Canada, as well as Europe. This is marketing representatives, and these persons, we have done that before, but with this new year and this new budget, we have sent out tenders for those persons, so we can be able to market Guyana at strategic places in Europe. I've recently spoke with the European a delegation from the European Union, and they've agreed to assist us with the marketing of Guyana in Europe. Realize that there is a lot of Europeans are quite interested in coming to Guyana, and so we agreed that we are going to sit down and work on even organizing a plan for European airlines to come directly to Guyana, or if not, to come through the Suriname circuit, do Amsterdam, Suriname, Guyana, and to specifically target the European market. So it's something that we are working towards it actively to market.
What I like about this government, Minister, and it's no super just praise to the government, but I think the government is so targeted to ensure that every sector of the economy is moving, and your ministry is no less important. Minister, I want to turn to the local arrangement here now. There's a proliferation of Chinese business in Guyana. Every village you go to, there's a huge Chinese supermarket, and they have all the goods that the household would need. My question to you, who is financing the Chinese business?
I can't say that I know the answer to that. I can't say that I know the answer. Yes, I don't.
Is the government falling down on this one? Because if I look at, I left Guyana many years ago. At that time, they were the local Chinese, those that, that were Guyanese. But these new breed of Chinese were coming in and they're taking over the business. I listened to another Globespan program when there was some discussion that the Guyanese of Indian descent controls the economic life of Guyana. If that is true, in my view, in a few years from now, that economic life will be taken over by the Chinese. Does the government have a plan to address that concern, if that is true?
Yeah, let me say this. I continue to engage quite actively the private sector in Guyana. At every opportunity that I have, I let them know, as the president has, and indeed the entire cabinet, that we see them as valuable partners in development of Guyana. And we continue to support whatever issues that we have. There have been several issues that they've approached me with, and we've been able to have dialogue, resolve some of them, are on the road to resolving other issues. And the private sector, whether as an individual or as a body, have not presented to me this issue as you have coined it. And certainly, if it is that the private sector sees this as an issue, I would invite them to come and let us have a discussion and see it as and resolve it if it is that they see this as a problem. So as you have voiced, this is the first time that I'm hearing of such an issue, but I do know that the private sector have never been shy about raising their problems and their issues that they have, and they have not yet raised this particular issue. And if they do,
I don't want to sound as if I'm against the Chinese. I don't want that to appear that way at all. But what I've seen over the years living in North America is that China have been a major exporter, a net exporter to the United States, the largest economy in the world. And as you would know, that almost annually, the China is able to ship over $500 billion US a year to the United States, more than the US has shipped to China. So there's a huge balance of trade imbalance here. My projection, Minister, and I hope I'm wrong, is in another few years, Guyana will be dependent on the Chinese trade for every aspect of our economic life. And I'm very concerned about that. And I really hope that Cabinet can address that issue and hopefully bring some, talk about it and see what we can do. We don't know what the Chinese plans are. They have long-term plans. We apparently do not look as long as they want to look, but I think this Belt and Road Initiative that was, presented by the Chinese president, I think that has far ramification that we will ever think of. And when it's too late on us, when we realize what is happening, it might be too late for us to react then.
I hear you. I hear your concern, and it's we can certainly start to have that discussion at cabinet level. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Before you come on, Minister, we need to take a short commercial break. And I know you've been very good. You're very candid in your answers to us tonight. I think our audience is loving it. So we'll take a short break and we'll come back after this commercial break.
AllFromOneSupplier.com has all your grocery needs, plus all of your West Indian items. Purchase all your groceries and all your West Indian items from one place and get free delivery to your homes and free shipping. AllFromOneSupplier.com has free deliveries locally in New York and free shipping to all US states. Our shoppers choose the best items packaged nicely and delivered to your home. We have all your grocery needs and all your West Indian items, a one-stop shop. So place all your orders on allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. That's online at allfromonesupplier.com or call 718-551-3292. Get all your groceries and all your West Indian items from allfromonesupplier.com with free deliveries and free shipping to all US states. TravelSpan offers all airlines, such as American, Caribbean, and JetBlue. So let TravelSpan compare all airlines and offer you the best fare. Call TravelSpan at 718-845-0437 for the lowest deals between New York, Miami, and Guyana. That's TravelSpan at 718-845-0437. Call TravelSpan in New York at 718-845-0437, Georgetown at 227-1701, or Berbice at 337-4287. In New York, 718-845-0437, Georgetown 227-1701, or Berbice 337-4287, and West Coast Demerara at 269-0140. Let TravelSpan book you the best deals for you and your families. TravelSpan now has travel and shipping services. Shop online and deliver to TravelSpan to handle all of your shipping to Guyana and Trinidad. TravelSpan brings 26 years of experience in the travel business. TravelSpan will clear your items and have it available at any of our offices in Guyana or Trinidad. So go online and purchase your item, then let TravelSpan handle all the shipping. Shop and ship made easy with TravelSpan, with offices in New York, Georgetown, Berbice, West Coast Demerara, and Trinidad. TravelSpan, serving you with your airlines and shipping needs. Call in New York 718-845-0437, and in Guyana call 227-1701. That's in New York 718-845-0437, and in Guyana 227-1701. And in Trinidad call 672-2060. That's 672-2060.
Welcome back to our audience, and we want to thank you for staying with us as we have with us the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Commerce, Minister Walrond. Minister, we want to thank you for being so candid with us, as we said, as we continue discussion tonight. Minister, will your ministry have satellite offices across Guyana? Is that part of the card or no?
The ministry, the entire ministry, perhaps not. As you know, I have the different portfolios, but certain sections of the departments of the ministry, that are responsible for the Bureau of Standards, for example. We just recently opened an office in Bartica. So miners can now come to Bartica instead of having to travel all the way to Georgetown to get their gold weighed and certified, and you know there's one also in Criverton. So we different aspects of the ministry is available. We've been making ourselves available and setting up satellite offices in different regions. So the Commerce Department, we have found a way to work with the NDCs to have people can register their businesses without having to come all the way to Georgetown. And so we while the ministry as a whole will not have offices in different in our presence in different regions, certainly our services we make available depending on the department in the different regions of Guyana.
Minister, I'm glad you mentioned Bartica because we had submitted a proposal to the government, but I don't think it found favor with the powers that be. But in Bartica, for instance, if we set up a huge plant there to convert our raw gold into jewelry and sell the jewelry there to the to the business in North America and different parts of the world. Imagine the people from the United States, the jewelers, they are going to Dubai and they're buying the gold, the jewelry very cheap there and go back to the United States and resell it, or even the Caribbean. Why can't we make Bartica that Dubai hub so that the jewelers across North America and maybe even the Caribbean come to Bartica, buy their stuff, and go back on another flight out of Guyana? Is that? I mean, those are some of the things that we would like to see happen in Guyana. It takes money to do it, but is there anyone who has come to you and said, you know, they want to do that, for instance, make Bartica a hub for jewelry?
No, and I quite like the idea, Mr. Sugrim. So perhaps you could come and spearhead such an initiative.
Well, I don't have the money to do it.
Okay, so that is what the thing. As the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, we continue to encourage our diaspora and private sector to come together, come into consortiums, raise your funding, because there's so many ideas. There's so many business ventures, so much opportunity right now available in Guyana that it's time that, you know, just as you raised this, government cannot think of everything. We don't even propose to think that we even know half of the ideas that can be lucrative and can bring development in terms of to our private sector. And we know that the ideas, a lot of the ideas reside with the private sector, with you. And that's such idea. We are open to all of your proposals. You can raise the funding. We can assist you in terms of marketing your idea through the Office of Go Invest, through the different the chambers of the American Chamber, AmCham, and we want to support ideas such as these. And so lack of funding ought not to be a hindrance, but it's an opportunity to band together as you know, and to take advantage of all of these opportunities. But we're certainly open to hearing these kinds of proposals and once they're feasible, to making them work.
You see, Minister, there is a chain reaction because for us to set up a processing plant, let's say Bartica, we need to train goldsmiths, send them to GTI. So that's another arrangement that is a holistic approach that needs to be done. And that's why our proposal to the government was to do some of those things. But as I said, it didn't, the reception was not very good. We also was thinking of the an OMI that we can set up. You see, Guyanese individual, we don't have the funds individually. Some Guyanese are super rich, but the majority of us don't have the funds to do it. But if we can pool our resources, as you said, I mean, we can do so many things. Right now, you know, the gold production in our country, what is declared, they pay the 5% royalty on. What is not declared, we don't even know. And when they ship the gold overseas, the funds don't come back to Guyana, it stays overseas. So our resource is being raped, I can use such a term, and the money don't come back home to Guyana. And if Guyanese can do that collectively, the funds come back to Guyana. But we, you know, it's a wheel within a wheel. How will that work? And the Guyanese community, as you know, Minister, is very divided as well. Not only here in Guyana, but we divided in North America and in different parts of the world. So the government effort to bring people together will be magnanimous rather than individual. So, Minister, I'm throwing the ball in your court. Take the lead and let us do it.
You know, government continues to be supportive. Our doors are open to all kinds of collaborations, and I believe that a lot of this, the private sector and you know, private citizens have to drive. But we want to say that our incentives and we continue to say that we will incentivize and we will continue to encourage and to help bolster those kinds of initiatives once they are driven by the private citizens. So, you know, you said that, you know, Guyanese are divided, but I think money can be a great unifier, you know. So.
Yeah, but the trust is not there, and that's the problem. And if the government gets on board, then again the trust factor will be minimized because we don't seem to have a lot of trust in each other. But that's something else you have to deal with. Dr. Rose?
Minister Walrond, don't let him kid you. He's rich enough to come and do the project. Don't let him kid you.
I wish that was true.
Okay, Minister. Governments past and present, and this has been reported time and time again in the media, do not generally treat foreign companies the same way as local companies, local or domestic companies. Why? And do we intend to change that? For example, foreign companies are given all sorts of tax incentives and so forth, whereas the local companies, they don't. If this is true, then why this is happening? Why that double standard is being set in Guyana for companies to establish themselves?
Dr. Rose, I can say unequivocally that under this administration that is not our policy. In fact, we encourage and have been encouraging and calling for Guyanese and to get involved, to come together. Sometimes foreign companies, most times you find that foreign companies are involved overwhelmingly because of the financing. And so we've been calling on Guyanese to band together, to come into consortiums and take advantage of these projects. And we have been actively engaging Guyanese to take advantage of the developmental infrastructural projects that have been announced, advertised in the papers, the bridges, the roads, and we have been specifically targeting Guyanese, and I say this without reservation. So that is definitely not the policy of government to have a to treat foreign companies preferentially. In my own ministry, in we assess the business plans that are brought before us for the industrial estates. If it's a foreign company that has shown an interest, we want to see how many Guyanese and how Guyana is going to benefit. Even if that is one of the criteria. They got to show that how many Guyanese jobs are going to be provided, how the community that they plan to work in is going to be impacted, and whether it's negative or positively. So it's always a consideration that Guyanese should be given the advantage and given priority over foreign companies. And when foreign companies do engage the government, we insist that they show us how Guyanese benefit and how they plan and engage in Guyana, that we can engage in Guyanese, that we can also benefit financially from the ventures. So that is certainly not true for this administration. That part.
Minister, if you don't mind, Minister, but what Doc is saying there, I think we have a problem in Guyana formulating our contracts. Recently, as you know, the Canadian company that controls Oraima Gold Mines, they got tax waiver for a whole lot of different things. They sold the company to a Chinese firm. They got about 200 or 300 million US dollars, and nothing was paid into the treasury of Guyana. Why was that so, Minister?
I can't speak to that contract as an attorney. I know that everything is contextual. I have no idea about that contract. What Dr. Rose spoke to as a policy, general policy directive and a policy question as relates to preferential treatment for foreign companies. And I do know that I can say for sure that that is not the policy of this government that they've been given to. The RIMA agreement, I have no idea about. I don't know when that agreement was signed. I don't know what were the reasons for the terms, and I know being an attorney, but that these things are incredibly nuanced, and so they need a further investigation into this specific situation and circumstance.
Minister, I want to be very, very candid, or put it even worse, to be blunt. White Europeans, white Americans, white Canadians are the masses who normally come to the Caribbean on vacation. And they love beaches. Guyana is at a disadvantage because Guyana don't have beaches for them. The stats are this: less than 18% of these people are interested in ecotourism. What do you have to do to attract these people in Guyana? Because they're more attracted to the Caribbean islands. So what your ministry intend to do to attract them?
Before the pandemic, there was an increasing number of visitors coming to Guyana to experience our the ecotourism product. And while it's true that there is the allure of white sand and blue water, there is an increasing demand and desire amongst the same people that you talk, the white, Caucasian, and even non-Caucasian, for the kind of travel that speaks to pristiness, to speak to wellness, health, and the ecotourism product is more and more becoming attractive for that. So we continue to push that. We continue to push the interest and of the tourists in the agrotourism, the farm to table concept that we are also developing with the Ministry of Agriculture, where you go the issue of organic eating and natural eating and fruits, and using that to as a tourism product, because we have found in our studies that demand is there. The wellness part of traveling, where you're coming into a pristine place, but recognizing that there is the allure of the white sand. Barbados, we have recently started a conversation with Barbados where we're going to be talking about partnering with Barbados to create a tourism product that speaks to the sand and the sea and the Kaichor Falls. So you make that as one product, one tour. You can do both of it. You can do both the ecotourism and the beaches. And so when Europeans come to Barbados, from Barbados, they can take a flight straight to Tamari or another part in region 9, and so we have decided that we can partner and market the Caribbean as not just a sun and sea, but also an ecotourism destination, or a bird in paradise, or the largest waterfall you can, the highest single drop waterfall, and to market it as one product. So it's two experiences in one travel, and we believe that is going to get some traction as well. We are broadening and the airport at the Kaitro Falls to as we anticipate more and more travelers are going to want to come, and so we are going to group the product as one. That is one also another plan.
Minister, if one goes to Europe or Canada or even the United States, we have seen, or I've seen where commercials advertising Jamaican tourism, Barbados, even St. Lucia and Grenada. Do you have any plans of having commercials here in the United States and other parts of the world, Europe, to promote Guyana's ecotourism? TV commercials I'm talking about.
Yes, I am. But as you know that the air time in North America is very expensive, and that has been the sole reason that you have not been seeing a lot of that from Guyana. Budgetary reason recognizing. So we've been using other avenues, which is the hard copy magazines, tailoring, targeting specific travel magazines. So people who are interested in ecotourism travel, interested in travel. That's why you find that Guyana has been mentioned in Wanderlust magazines that speak to people who are interested in a specific kind of travel. So we've been targeting our marketing to those specific persons as opposed to a general audience on TV that is expensive, and we're not quite sure how, because you have to have a lot of those ads to get the impact, and so it is quite expensive. So it's all been a budgetary thing, but we've considered that the marketing has not stopped, except that we have made it more targeting. But there's more that can be done. Certainly, there is more that we can do, and we continue to, as our budget expands and resources are made available, to continue to have TV ads running in North America as an option for sure.
Minister, have you any plans to establish a business, tourism, and investment office at the Guyana embassies and consulates around the world? I think there are 31. There are 31 embassies and consulates around the world, and there are others that are being monitored by the countries of origin and so forth. Have you had any plans to establish any business office there, tourism office and so forth?
Tourism office and business office, definitely. We do have such plans. With the change of the administration and as the offices are now being set up, it is within our work plan to whether it is to train the officers, the consulate officer and tourism. We're having talks of whether we should have hire someone separate to come in. So we are looking at each location and making that decision whether it will be the consulate officer. But for sure, we plan on having a desk, a tourism desk at each consulate office. Well, at least most of them. To begin with, yeah, it's definitely a plan. And immediate.
Let me ask you the ultimate question. Do you think the budget you received this year was enough for your ministry?
The whole idea of budgets is that there's never enough, right?
Okay.
So, but reprioritizing because it's always scarce resources, and money is never,
I ask you that question because I know the amount of money you got in your budget. I'm not pitting you against other departments and ministries, but investments, tourism, and development, key. And I think your ministry should have one of the largest budgets to promote that. But that's me. I'm not Dr. Ashley Singh.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're aware that resources are scarce, and we have to prioritize. And it's not an indication that tourism is not a priority. It's just right now, for instance, Dr. Rose, we want to build out infrastructure, build roads, because you can't have a tourism product if people don't have access to it. So that has been the priority. And so the bulk of the budget has been going to works and those kinds of infrastructural projects, and under which everything else will stand, which industry will develop, economic activity will develop, and tourism certainly will develop as we get more and more access to infrastructure. So that has been the general reason for
I
that.
say that to tell you that Barbados tourism budget is the largest of the ministries. And Jamaica's is, I think, is the third largest in Jamaica. And you're nowhere close there.
Yeah.
Charles, over to you.
All right. Minister, if you're looking for alliteration, we can say sand, seas, and splendid waterfalls. Or maybe sand, sea, and sugarcane.
I'm
or
going to
sand,
steal
sea, and
that.
satisfaction. We can use something to promote what Dr. Rose is saying.
I like that. I
So
got to
we can-
use you as my marketer.
All right. Minister, how closely do you work with the Go Invest?
We work very closely, even though Go Invest is now under the office of the president. We continue to work very closely together.
Should Go Invest be under your portfolio? I think that would be more appropriate.
Well, I guess the president has felt that it's more appropriately placed under the office of the president, but it doesn't stop our collaboration. From the very inception, the president has made it clear to us that we are not operating as silos, that we are one government delivering one service to one people, and we have to work together. And so it doesn't stop us. We collaborate. In fact, before I got on this call, I was messaging Peter, Dr. Ramsru. We work very closely together. So it doesn't.
That's what I like about this administration. I think there's a lot of good coordination between the ministries and among the departments, and I think kudos to President Ali for that. Minister, you mentioned this is not your ministry, but you mentioned building roads and so on this year. You did have both ministers on the public works and this program. But you know, Minister, as I drive on the railway embankment going towards on the East Coast, every bridge you have to stop because there's so much potholes on the bridge. And I've seen it can damage your car tires, it can cause a lot of accidents. So we are expanding, and I think it's a good thing to expand a road network. But those that we have, we are not keeping them into satisfactory condition. And I know it's not your ministry, but I'm just throwing this out that I think.
But that road specifically, though, there's the plans for it to be resurfaced and expanded. That embankment road. So that might be the reason why there hasn't been much attention paid to it now, because the works, there is movement to start works on that road to expand it. So yeah, it's going to be.
I'm not blaming this administration, Minister, because that it didn't happen overnight. It happened many years ago under the previous administration, and nothing was
Those
done.
bridges are a problem. That thing never worked, because I live on the East Coast myself, and that road, every time the bridges move, it creates potholes. So there's something wrong with the way it was constructed, but that's going to be remedied.
Minister, do you have enough professional staff in your ministry to execute the program that you have to undertake?
Is that a trick question?
No, I don't think it's a trick question. I think it's an honest question.
It is not a trick question. Minister, I mean, okay, I'm sure you have very competent people in your ministry. There is no doubt about that. But is that adequate? Is it sufficient to carry out your program under your portfolio?
Quite honestly, I can do with a few other persons, but what you find is that you find a team of hardworking, bright people who just carry all of the work and carry the ministry, and they just do what needs to be done. And I have found that I have that team. And for sure, it would eventually would like to expand and to bring more people in, and I am looking for those people. But I'm also, we need to build capacity with the people that we have here who are willing to do the work and willing to put their hands to the work. And we have that. I have that group of hardworking young people here who, and as we continue to build their capacity, it will be fine. So the work of the ministry will not suffer. I think leadership is about encouraging people to do and operate beyond what their comfort level is and their comfort zone, and to stretch them beyond. And so that's what we're doing.
Minister, I know you mentioned in our discussion tonight that you're very supportive of helping entrepreneur and get their, whatever they need to put together to establish a business. There was a letter in the newspaper written by a young lady from Blackbush Polder, and if she's watching, please forgive me, I forget her name. But she wrote a letter addressing it to the First Lady about the challenges she went through. And some response in the news, in the letter to the newspaper, they supported her and they asked, why does the government have to spend so much funds for 20,000 scholarships? And I'm not saying that is bad or not bad, but why don't the government put aside a portion of funding to help people like this young lady to start a business and to give her all, well, not all, but at least as much resource as possible to expand throughout Guyana. And I'm sure there are many young people like her throughout the length and breadth of Guyana.
I am not aware of this letter. I'm not aware of the young lady's situation, but the support, for sure, maybe she wasn't aware of what government can do and sending out things that we're at this ministry and the small business bureaus to bring more awareness to people to know that we have that there is tangible support provided through the Small Business Bureau for people who have dreams and who have business they want to start. I'm not aware if this young lady's business is a small business or was a small business or what she what business she had in mind, but for sure to let people just don't know that the services they've been doing more and more. We did one in Linden recently, and a few people didn't know that it was available for them grants and for them to help them with their businesses and to start to help them with business planning and business proposal writing. And we've had an overwhelming response from the folks in Region 10 at the Small Business Bureau. Already in March, we've given out $99 million in grants to small businesses already. So, yeah.
Minister, maybe the marketing arm of your ministry need to be strengthened to let the public know what is available. Maybe a lot of people out there don't know what is available. Is it on a website? Is it somewhere they can go look at? Is it in Growing Best?
It is. But we have to. We perhaps need to do more, and we are certainly trying.
Maybe get the MDCs involved so at least they can spread it in their community that, hey, these are available.
We are engaging them. We continue to engage them. Like I said, some NDCs we have partnered with them to help with the registering of the business. So yes, they are a thing. But of course, not everyone is going to know. So we have to do more. We have to look at issues like this young lady, Blackbush Polder, find out why it is that she has not been able to be informed. And we'll have to let people know what government is doing for sure.
Minister, we are coming to program time, and we want to thank you so much for the time you spent with us. Dr. Rose, anything before Minister give a final word?
Yeah, Minister, one last question to you, and this is a big one. What are your goals for ecotourism in Guyana for the next 5 years?
To bring it back to the place of its former glory, and even better, for Guyana to be the #1 ecotourism destination in all of the world. And as people look to Guyana, they don't see just an oil and gas country, but they see one where the or pristine tourism product is first, and is of such a high quality and standard that they want to come and visit. So yeah, to make Guyana the #1 ecotourism destination. That is our goal.
And do your development strategy includes promoting a green Guyana?
Green initiatives, absolutely. We recognize even that some of our funding is hinged on our plans and build out being green and being sustainable. So absolutely. Our restaurants, as the Guyana Tourism Authority certifies them, they have to adhere to certain green initiatives and how to dispose of waste and how to handle their business and operations in a sustainable manner. So definitely the environment is first and foremost in our consciousness as we talk about development.
All right, Minister.
Okay, sure.
Minister, you want to thank you. Is there anything you want to say in closing to our audience?
I want to thank you for this time spent here, and I want to tell your audience thanks for listening, and it has been such a pleasure.
And it's our pleasure again, Minister. I'm sure on behalf of the Minister and Dr. Rose, Globespan, and all of Guyana, we want to again wish Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim brothers and sisters as we commence Ramadan tomorrow, and to the Hindu community that celebrate Navratri, which begins tomorrow as well. So, Minister, again, we want to thank you. Thank you to our audience, to Devin and to Nohar Singh. God bless you, Minister. God bless our country. And may God help us all as we try to elevate our country to this higher level that President Ali would like to take us to. Thank you,
Thank you, Minister Walrond, and thank you for accepting our invitation. But don't go. We want to have a chat right after we get off the air, please.
Okay, certainly.